The Department of Home Affairs are still hard at work here at the Repatriation Center in Musina. They continue to verify and process undocumented immigrants from various provinces in South Africa. We do understand that majority of those that are being repatriated at this center are Malawians, but according to the Department of Home Affairs, they are seeing an increase of Zimbabweans. But to speak more on that, I am joined by the Chief Director of Home Affairs and also the project manager here at the center, Mr. Albert Matsaung. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Let's speak.
Thank you.
Yes, you just told me that the numbers of Zimbabweans are now increasing compared to when you started with the process. Yeah. How is that going so far?
Remember, since we started the project, we started the project on the 14th of June in KZN. The numbers that we've been seeing is Malawians. We then moved over to this side after finalizing the establishment of the temporary repatriation center. We still managed to end up making sure that the people that we were processing, as and when we were monitoring their numbers, Malawians even now, they are still in the majority. But one of the things that we've noted, there's been a bit of a spike, an increase in terms of the number of Zimbabweans, because now on a daily basis we still see buses that are also coming just to make sure that they drop people from all the 9 provinces. And some of those buses that are coming now, we're now seeing some of the buses, as and when they offload, then they offload Zimbabwean national, which means that as much as the number of Zimbabweans has not increased drastically with their inflow into the center, when we look at how we started with the project itself and looking at the numbers currently, they are starting to come in. And the other issue is that yesterday we managed to make sure that we process almost everybody within the facility, but overnight, because people continues to raise their hands, embassies continues to work with government in terms of making sure that they facilitate the process of repatriation. We have now, yesterday we managed to make sure that we process around 1,618. But of this 1,618, 1,100 were Malawians. But then we've seen Zimbabweans now managing to repatriate around 466. And then the 466 to Malawi, we used 6 buses. To Zimbabwe, we used 6 buses. But for Malawians, because they have been in the majority even yesterday, they've been in the majority since we started with this project, then we managed to make sure that 16 buses are moving Malawians to their country of origin. It remains a moving target. Numbers continues to fluctuate. On a daily basis, we continue monitoring the numbers. Yesterday, we did between 1,000 to 2,000. If you look at the figure that I've just given you, it's 1,600 and I think I said it's 1,618. But when we look at the numbers today, the numbers seems to have increased because we are looking at between 2,000 to 2,500. But we're still hard at work. We'll end up seeing at the end of business as to how the numbers are going to be. But remember the other thing. This is a 7 days operation. Well, we're working from Monday up until Sunday, like what you have been seeing here.
Let's talk about the criminal activities that you've been able to pick up when you are busy processing and verifying these people. We do understand that so far you told me that you were able to pick up only 3 criminal cases.
Remember, we're working as whole of government together with civil society in here. And on a daily basis, reports are being provided as part of making an assessment in terms of how the operations have gone and also to check if there are challenges that we need to correct. And I think one of the issues that continues to be cleared here is the issue of SABC continuing to do the verification of everybody that are being processed here. And then in terms of what they've picked up, they still picked up the case of murder. They still, since we started, they reported the case of murder. They reported the case of rape. They also reported the case of robbery. Those are the cases that they presented in our engagement and in our meeting. They are continuing to monitor all the clients that are coming here. But you'll remember, as and when they pick up those people, then what happens is that SABC will then take those people and make sure that they do their necessary services in terms of making sure that people that still have got criminal acts to answer cannot be allowed to run through this process of repatriation.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Mr. Albert Matsaung, the Chief Director of the Department of Home Affairs, just telling us what we heard now is that they were able to pick up 3 criminal cases when they were busy with their verification and deportation process, a case of murder, rape, and also robbery. And we understand that those 3 people have been taken by the police and they are still busy with the investigations